The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
I've never had Swedish meatballs, even from IKEA. And Rich Tocchet, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, your Vancouver Canucks, may be having some authentic Swedish meatballs this summer. What? What's going on, man? What a summer.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen, and welcome to an episode of Locked On Canucks. Produced here at the Don't Doze Art Lab, the place that gives you that West Coast bias, and this is the show that gives you your Canucks every day. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Yes, Game Time is that place, man. That place to get last-minute tickets at the lowest of prices. Yes, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use Locked On NHL to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, man. Speaking of terms, okay, Trevor Begg's still sick. Still going through it, not drinking enough water, not using sunscreen. Not doing it right. It's okay, though. He'll rest up. He'll get better. Hopefully, he's back on Monday. And it's also all right because we got the better Trevor, okay? For real. The better Trevor. Coming on the program in about 10 minutes, all right? He's the real deal. Who needs Beggsy when you got the better Trevor? More on that in 10 minutes. Let's start here, though, okay? Let's start by, I wouldn't say digging deep. I would say having fun. Because this is what it's all about, okay? It's about getting better. It's about not being satisfied with a second-round performance. And man, oh man, I'm hearing a lot about Elias Pettersson in Sweden and some of the help he'll be getting this summer. The Jim Rutherford interview, right? A couple days ago. He alluded to the fact that maybe, just maybe, Henrik and Daniel Sedin will be meeting up with Pettersson in Sweden to do what? Who knows? Do they got the grouse grind up there? But they'll be working. And they'll be teaching. And he'll be listening. I think there's a fascinating connection between Henrik and Daniel and Elias Pettersson, right? The twins, they retire. I was at that game. One of the last times I did cry. For real, sometimes I think about it, right? I was asked this question. Now, Kyle, when was the last time you cried? And I keep mentioning that moment, right? In the shower. Crying after me and my first girl broke up. But man, oh man, fast forward a couple years later, and there I am at Rogers Arena watching Henrik and Daniel pull off magic against Arizona in Game 81, their last home game. I was there. I was crying. And I almost cried a couple months later when Elias Pettersson started his career with your Vancouver Canucks. And man, oh man, what could have been, right? What if the Sedins stuck around for one more year? What would Pettersson have learned that year? Another funny story that goes along with that, okay? I was at a party, and maybe, just maybe, that dude shows up, right? And one of my friends asks him, he asked Pettersson, how was it like playing with the Sedins? Think about that. Worst question ever. Not a real hockey fan, not a real Vancouver fan, but man, oh man, that was back in the day when the Canucks weren't cool. Anyways, where am I going with this? I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what those three do together. It could be something. Specifically speaking, in hockey terms, right? Let's get technical, because all the spiritual, philosophical guru stuff, yeah, you know what's going to happen. But how about the technical stuff? If there's anyone or any two people who can teach Pettersson how to stay on his skates more consistently, it's Henrik and Daniel Sedin. I'm pretty sure they can speak the same language too. We also heard a couple other things, right, regarding Pettersson's time in Sweden this summer as a Vancouver Canuck. Thomas Drance on Halford and Bruff dropped a couple great nuggets, man. I love this stuff. I'm a hockey nerd, just like all these guys in that organization. But apparently they got a strength coach already in Sweden or going to Sweden pretty soon to be working with Pettersson, right? Maybe they'll be doing some chin-ups, some body squats, right? Getting stronger, getting on a plan. And then you also hear the news, well, not the news, but the assumption or the possibility in that same interview with Halford and Bruff with Drance that Rick Tocchet, he may be going to Sweden to visit Pettersson, to eat some Swedish meatballs together to talk hockey. And yeah, I get it. Sometimes. Some of the, not the negativity or the pessimism, but the confusion about why all this has to happen for a $11.6 million man, right? You got two of the best players in franchise history, possibly helping Pettersson out this summer. You got a strength coach, and now you got the head coach. A lot of people on your staff not having a full summer vacation because, they got to travel to Sweden to quote unquote help Elias Pettersson out. Again, people connect those dots and go there. But I'm telling you, if you're one of those people, you need to stop doing that and just look at this way. These guys, once again, are all hockey nerds. Rutherford, Alvin, Tocchet champions. Henrik and Daniel, that strength coach. You best believe they're hockey nerds. Pettersson, a huge hockey nerd. The goal to get better and figuring out a way to get better ASAP is a beautiful thing. It's a fun thing. And a strategy like this to do so is just good business, okay? It's damn good business. It really is. It's not that deep that they're sending the troops over to Sweden. No, it's not that deep. It's just fun. It's what you got to do. And yeah, there's a lot to figure out there, right? Pettersson has to be quote unquote more consistent and just for this team to get past the second round and move towards the ultimate goal, and that's bring the Stanley Cup finally back to Vancouver. That dude has to get a lot better. And these little details, these little assignments get that done, right? It just doesn't fall on your lap. You're not going to evolve or evolution won't happen with a blink of an eye. Yes, evolution, as natural as it is, has to go through processes like this. And I'm excited, again, for Pettersson to go through the ringer, work with some Hall of Famers, Henrik and Daniel, get stronger, then work with a should-be Hall of Famer in Rick Tocchet, right? A guy who's played with Mario Lemieux and coached Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. I'm excited to see what happens here. I mean, again, when the Canucks, yes, your Canucks win the Stanley Cup, I feel as if they'll write a chapter about what's happening this summer, possibly in Sweden. That's a beautiful thing. Now, I do want to touch on Tocchet a bit more before we get, to the other side and talk about Zadorov and talk to the other Trevor on YouTube, the best Trevor on YouTube when it comes to talking about your Vancouver Canucks. But another thing that made me excited about everything Thomas Drance talking to Rick Tocchet was Tocchet's ability to be accountable and his desire to push the pace, his desire to open things up, his desire to be a way better coach. And this is coming from the coach of the year. And if you really think about it, right, a super competitive guy, a guy who's, again, played with some of the best, won championships, coached some of the best. Hey, on that note, this dude just won coach of the year after quote unquote failing in Tampa Bay and quote unquote failing in Arizona, whatever that means, being an assistant coach in Colorado and winning with Pittsburgh, this journey that this guy's been on. And here he is a month after winning coach of the year saying he's got to get a lot better. And I don't think it's any BS. Again, this guy is a big hockey nerd. You talk about him being a puzzle nerd. He's a huge hockey nerd, okay? He means that. And he knows that. And we all know that. Yes, the Vancouver Canucks, they're that team that can adapt the structure and play that hard-nosed style. And you know what? We're equipped with some pretty damn good goaltenders. So we can be, in those tight games. And we can win those tight games in the last 30 seconds of a game. And we can pull some miracles off. The Canucks can do that. And play big and play strong. They can do that. They're mature. They're down to play that quote-unquote playoff style of hockey, that Tocchet game. But we know it. Yes, we know it, that there's another level to the Vancouver Canucks, and it involves leaning into the abilities of Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson and their traits, and their identity. And blending that in with the culture that Tocchet is trying to bring unlocks what I say is the superpower of the Vancouver Canucks. Because I think this team can do it all. I think they can. If Tocchet is willing to open it up, because I guess for readiness reasons, right? He wanted to get this team ready for the playoffs. He did not allow this team to do much post-January other than, locking it down. It was like Operation Let's Get Better at Penalty Killing at the power play, and don't worry about scoring a lot of goals. Let's just lock it down. The Canucks were one of the worst offensive teams in the second half of the year. That is just the truth. Rick Tocchet has to get a lot better, and he's looking forward to getting a lot better. And for the fourth or fifth time, that guy's a big hockey nerd. He's going to get a lot better, and I'm excited for your Vancouver Canucks. Anyways, again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us a space to produce the show. We're going to get Trev, a.k.a. Kepner Canucks, the better Trevor on the program. Okay? The best Trevor on Canucks YouTube. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Trevor Baggs, man. He prays every night thinking he can be the man Trev is, okay? We'll get to him and some Zadorov talk because, man, oh, man. Trev's been he's been right about a lot of things, and I hope he's not right about the whole Zadorov going to Boston thing, okay? For real. Let's shout out FanDuel and talk more Canucks. Again, you're listening to Locked On.
You know what? I'm a sports guy, and I love sports. I love them so much, and I never want them to stop. But the playoffs, they gone, okay? We got fewer games, and the sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel, they got my back, and they let me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. All right. So with FanDuel, make sure you head on over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. Again, you can bet on Major League Baseball. The Olympics are coming up. Whatever tickles your fancy. And hey, if you're having any gambling issues, make sure you go get some help, okay? Because, hey, that's the most important thing, right? Gamble responsibly, okay? Again, show is brought to you by FanDuel. They are the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
Okay, we back about to get Trev on the program. My name is Kyle Bowen, and this right here is Locked On Canucks. Before we get Kepner Canucks on the program, I got to remind you to, check out that West Coast bias at don'tdoze.com, right? We're not here without them, DONTDOZE.com. And also hit the like button and subscribe to the show. We got you covered every day and also every minute and every hour. Anywho, let's get to our friends, okay? Trev about to come on, talk more about the Vancouver Canucks. We're blessed. Let's do this. And let's do this now. Hey, man. How's it going? My guy, one of my favorite content creators about your Vancouver Canucks, because I don't know your slogan by heart, but I'm just going to focus on the optimistic part because you got that energy about you. And I feel as if you have a huge impact on what the Vancouver Canucks do because you put a lot of good things in the air, man. And I believe in that stuff.
Hey, thanks, Kyle, for having me on. Appreciate you a lot. Love the show. Watch a lot of your content. So keep going, man. You guys are doing a great job.
Oh, thanks, man. And I'll touch base more on what I just spieled out regarding Trev. I remember last year, September was ending, and I feel as if the roster was shaping up and the lineup cards are going out. And there was Cole McWard playing on the first pairing. There was PDG on the second line. I'm crying. I'm complaining. A lot of other people doing the same thing. And you were telling everyone to calm down. And you sounded really confident in the Canucks' ability to actually change things up and be a different team. And I'm just curious, what did you see last September that I feel as if a lot of people didn't see? Because, again, the Canucks were having a bad preseason. PDG on the second line. Things weren't really looking that good.
Well, I liked how they surrounded their players with some talent, and obviously health is key, right? So I just looked at this team. I'm like, man, like I'm looking at the other teams, and I'm going, we're just as good. We're just as good,
Ooh.
and we're gonna make the playoffs because we're close. And if we're close, this city is going to support this team. But I liked how they had been surrounding. There were a couple things I didn't like about the team. I mean, I'm still not the biggest PDG fan. I like him.
Mhm.
I watched him score in the playoffs. I mean, I think it was playoffs. Anyways, I went to 3 games last year or so. But I mean, I wasn't a huge Bolivier fan,
Mhm.
but I knew that Tocchet was a good coach, and I also knew that Rutherford and Alvin, dude, they're champions. They're
Mhm.
champs. So
Yeah.
I believed in the core. I thought Pettersson was going to have another 100-point year. I thought Demko was going to be healthy all year. I mean, you do those things and you add up the math, and then of course, my boy JT Miller. Wow, let's go.
Damn, JT Miller, man, everyone's favorite. And yeah, just I don't know why that moment for me and my relationship with like the Canucks internet and having you be just strongly optimistic was it just stood out because again, I feel as if nobody was. Anyways, are you as optimistic going into I don't know September, October of this year, knowing that the Canucks are theoretically going into a brand new hockey year, knowing that they just replaced Nikita Zadorov with like Tyler Myers and Vincent Darnay and Forbert or whatever the guy's name is. Like, are you over the whole Zadorov thing? And do you think the Canucks can? I don't know. I don't want to say replace him, but dude, they're gonna miss Zadorov, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are. I already do. I'm still grieving, but I'll tell you. I'll tell you this. We're making the playoffs again. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. This team. You know, I mean, you gotta barring significant catastrophic injury to Hughes and some of these other guys, we are going to make the playoffs. And in my opinion, we're going to make noise. But if you're asking me, are we better today than we were in the playoffs? My answer is no. And I think
Mm.
losing Zadorov, isn't that funny? I don't ever talk about Lindholm.
No, you're just a big Zadorov guy. I feel as if
Dude,
you had like you just maybe you're more of an old school guy than me. Like we don't know each other that much. I don't know how old you are, but I feel as if you really just appreciate like the high character physical guy who, let's be honest, happens to have a surface level of skill that is a lot better than Tyler Myers. So this is a whole. And you said you went to a couple playoff games this year, right? And there wasn't more than 2 players that had the power to control the Rogers Arena crowd more than Nikita Zadorov.
yeah, the thing about Zadorov that there's 20 things I like about him. Okay, now everyone
List
keeps
them,
calling.
list them all,
Well,
man.
okay, physicality. I mean, he scored in the playoffs.
Hmm.
Intimidation, like someone rocks, or he rocks somebody, right? Just levels him, and the guy gets up and he's gonna drop the gloves, and he looks at him and he goes, I'm good."
Mm.
You know, like he had never played better in his career than when he played to Vancouver, because the coaching was excellent, all that kind of stuff. So the progression I saw in him, my friends who are Flames fans, they said, Trev, you're getting a guy who turns the puck over. He's inconsistent. That was not true in Vancouver. He was fantastic. Now, I know I need to get over him. I am getting over him, but I just feel like this
Hmm.
is going to be one of those things where it's going to be too, like, I'm not going to sit back and go, well, if we had Zadorov, we'd be this. I don't think, well, I can't promise you anything. But the point is that everyone who says he got overpaid, listen, the Vancouver Canucks offered him the exact same amount of money because they believed it. I'll tell you one other thing, Kyle, and I think I've heard you say this on the show. Everyone that says this stupid line that he is a third pairing defenseman, $5 million for a third pairing defenseman, is nuts. He's not a third pairing defenseman. He's a second pairing defenseman. And in Boston, he might be a first pairing defenseman. I don't know what they're going to do there. I think he's a second pairing defenseman. He's better than Susie. You got to follow the money, brother. Follow the
Hmm.
money. Paying Susie $3.2
Ooh.
million, right? and you're going to play him over a guy you're offering 5. That doesn't make any sense. So you got to understand, he was making 3.7 when he came to Vancouver on the Calgary deal. He's getting a raise because of what he did in Vancouver and what he did in the playoffs, because you got to surround these players with playoff players. And that's why I was so frustrated that he moved on. The thing is that it wasn't the Canucks' fault that he moved on. It was he wanted to have a little bit more stability. He made a choice to go to Boston. I mean, of all teams, there's 2 teams he should not have gone to: Calgary and Boston. And he went to Boston, and it's going to be really hard. I'm going to still cheer for him. I'm not sure in Boston. No, I can't stand them.
Yeah. Dude, like 7 months of Nikita Zadorov, and there's people like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to cheer for Nikita Zadorov, even though he has a Boston Bruin jersey on. Again, whatever happened last year with the Canucks was so adoring. For lack of a better term, I feel as if there was just a lot of lust in the air, and everything was just nice. Everything was nice and special, and we only got to the second round of the playoffs. But again, I think a lot of appreciation goes towards what Zadorov was willing to do. And yeah, again, I hear that a lot about Zadorov being a third pairing guy, and that the Canucks teams may be overpaying him, and Boston did, and all this jazz. And it's like, dude, you know what? Zadorov, that guy who played in the playoffs, is now inserted into a Boston Bruins lineup who, let's be honest, like, we can't be talking like we're above the Boston Bruins. Like, they've been consistently in the playoffs for a long time, and they've been doing their thing, and they have a good nucleus there. Like, he's going into another good system, and there's a good chance for a couple of years, especially if he's paired up with McAvoy. Like, dude, he's going to be good. And there's also that identity about being a Boston Bruin, and you can tell that Zadorov's a pretty swaggy dude. He's culturally ingrained in the game of hockey. He's going to absorb some of that Boston Bruin swag. And I hate saying that on this program, but there is an identity there. There's a culture there. And I think he's going to feed off that for a couple years until Father Time really kind of takes away this swagger, man. Because in the toughest of games against the toughest of teams, Zadorov was really, really good. Now let's move on, okay? Let's move on.
Yep.
People probably pissed off at us, right? We got to move on, like you said. I don't know how you practice moving on, but I got to do so, okay? Let's talk about Vinny D and Forbert, because are the Canucks like openly trying to make one of these guys into the next Nikita Zadorov? Because I feel like there's a little bit of that in both of those moves.
Yeah, I just don't think you can replace that intimidation, that physicality with those guys. But and even his skating ability was excellent. But this is where people say the Vancouver Canucks are weak in our third pairing, right? And I just want to just remind everyone, I was like, oh, Canucks D is so much weaker. Well, yes, but not really. Your top 4 is still Hronek and Hughes, which are studs. Then you have the same 2 guys with Soucy and Myers. Okay, they're twin towers. They are tough to play against. They matched up against McDavid in the playoffs. I mean, they're solid. So the 2 new guys there, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, they're playing prove it games now, prove it deals they're on, right? And I'm going to do a video on that this week regarding prove it deals. These 2 guys are sitting there. They have an opportunity to not only prove it, but to make more money. Like, think about it. Tyler Myers was terrible in Vancouver for 4.5 years. Okay. 4.5 years. Tocchet comes to town. He plays his best hockey, and he gets extended. Not a Canuck fan in the first 4 years wanted Myers back. They were like, this is stupid. So do not bring him back. Now they're like, hey, yeah, we're happy Myers is back. It's like, good. He's a right-handed shot defenseman. He's got long reach. So you look at Desharnais, you look at Forbert, and you think these guys under great coaching may be able to turn it. Like, don't talk about just what they did before. There's going to be new and improved. And if they're not, they're gone, because Alvin and Rutherford don't fool around, man. You do not produce, you're gone. And so I think on the power penalty kill, Forbert is going to come out and really prove his worth. I don't know about their physicality. Like Desharnais, I've seen him do a couple hits. Every fight he gets into, he loses. but he's also fighting the big boys. And so I think Vancouver fans are going to like these guys. It's just that they don't know anything about them yet. They haven't seen them on the ice yet. They haven't seen their size. They haven't seen their style. They've watched some games and okay, whatever. But like Oilers fans are mad that Desharnais left. Like
there's some Oilers fans too, though, that I think the Canucks overpay for him because I think there is like his floor is definitely scary. I mean, in the handful of games that I've watched him play, like he reminds me so much of Lucas Spiza, and there's not a defenseman that's pissed me more off in Canucks history than Lucas Spiza. You know, I just saw something too. This is crazy. And like again, it's the summer, okay? So if we're all over the place, it's all good, people, okay? There back in the day when the Canucks traded for Lucas Spiza / was involved in that Ryan Kessler trade via Jim Benning in his hands. Apparently, I don't know if these rumors are true, but they had an opportunity to either pick Shea Theodore or Lucas Spiza, and they picked the guy who had some NHL games, and that was Lucas Spiza. Isn't that something else, man? Isn't that something else? Hey, speaking of being something else, Trev, I know time just flew by, but we got to go. I love talking to you. There's more summer coming up, and I feel again that there's a connection between Locked On and Trev because optimism, good energy, good vibes, some of that magic, the Amsterdam magic. Yeah, I just like it. I just like it. So we want you back. But before you go, plug your stuff, man. Talk about your stuff, man. Talk about what you're doing, what your plans
good. Just a heads up. I'm blowing my name there. So I'm not Trevor Beggs.
Yeah. No, Trevor told me specifically, he's like, yo, if Trev comes on the program, don't change the name tag because he's scared of actually losing. Like, you know, you're taking his followers, man. Like he's an insecure guy, man. This is the real Trevor on Canucks YouTube right here.
All right, so you can follow me all over the place. Go to Kempner Canucks, YouTube, Facebook, X, it's Twitter if you don't know that, Instagram. I post tons of stuff. I'm doing tons of content. I do Canucks content that is passionate, realistic, and honest. And if that's the kind of content you want, you need to hit the like and subscribe. And I want to give a big shout out to Locked On Canucks, who are daily pumping out content. Big shout out to Kyle and big shout out to Trev. I'm big fans of you guys. Appreciate you a lot. Hit the like and subscribe here, boys and girls. Hit the like and subscribe.
This is the year, man. I'm putting Trevor Beggs against Trev, man. That's gonna happen, man. It's a rivalry. It's a rivalry, man. It's a bigger rivalry than the Oilers and the Canucks, man. It's happening, bro. Okay, for real. Anyways, thanks for your time, bro. Stay blessed and enjoy the weekend, bro. One love.
You too. Peace.
Okay. Again, one love to Kempner Canucks. I'll put his information after the episode airs in the bio below. Again, the dude put the magic out there and helped the Canucks be a really good team last year, okay? That's what optimism and good energy does. I'm going to get to your comments on the other side. But first, I gotta practice my ad read. So should we do this together on the spot and give some love to literally one of my favorite apps, Game Time, here on Locked On Canucks? Okay, people. Not much sports on right now, right? Let's be honest and let's be real. But I got to tell you a story, okay? One time back in the day, I went to a Dodgers game. This was like 6-7 years ago. And right now, the MLB, right? It's a thing. And I wish back in the day when I was purchasing those tickets that I used Game Time. But Game Time didn't exist. Okay, they didn't exist. And there I was spending a little bit more money or a lot more money on these Dodger tickets. I couldn't even name more than 4 players. 20 minutes later, I was hammered, and before the 6th inning, after missing the chance to catch a home run, it came right by my hand. I left the game because I wasn't fit enough to sit down any longer, okay, in the blaring sun. Anyways, if I could, yes, I could go to an MLB game right away today. I would be using Game Time because, again, they're that place that gives you that best deal in the last minute. Guaranteed. That is just the truth. For real. They'll even notify you, okay? If you start using the app, okay? Priority last minute deals, they got you. Flash deals, they got you. Zone deals, they got you. All in pricing. That's a big one. They're not going to lie to you. No surprise fees at checkout, okay? Anyways, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $20. Yes, $20 off your first purchase. That's use code LOCKEDONNHL at Game Time and their app. And you know what? Give baseball a chance. Give baseball a chance. If you give baseball a chance, I will give the CFL a chance. That is just the truth. One love to Game Time. People, we doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen, and another big shout out to Trev, the better Trevor, on the program. One love to the Don'tos Art Lab, and let's get to your comments. Okay, it's all about the people. It's all about the people. Look at this comment from Infamous. Okay, Rick Tocchet is about to go ham next season. Ham is ham and Swedish meatballs. If that's the case, I can't eat Swedish meatballs. Now, sometimes I do dabble in ham, but in pork and pig, but it's very rare. Very rare. Very rare. What's in a Swedish meatball? Can somebody tell me in the comments below? Look at this comment from Callum Sandio. Okay, Canucks Digest out in Newfoundland literally has double the subs as us. Okay, Locked On Canucks. Who's Canucks Digest? I think they're another YouTube channel, and that's cool. Congratulations, you guys did it. They got double the subs, but they don't got this. They don't got this, and that's you and you and you and you tuning in. I'm telling you, we are already at not capacity. That's not my choice, but we are already fulfilled. We are super blessed, okay? Super blessed to have you and you and you and you. Speaking of you and you and you and you, Andrew, man. Okay, we gotta connect on Discord. Okay, we're trying to get Andrew on the show this week. My schedule was a little crazy. We'll try again next week. Join the Discord if you want to join a live show this summer and next season, because I think we're gonna roll this out all year. Andrew's saying that he went to a Mariners game and it was a hell of a good time. Baseball, man, the MLB, okay. Major League Boredom. What? Andrew also saying that Demko's going to have another breakout year this year. I think Andrew in the Discord was also talking about how he believes Shelovs and Demko can be just as good as Schneider and Luongo, which I believe as well. I believe that. I really do. The ability for Shelovs to come in and be so calm, cool, collected, and win a playoff series for this team, that speaks highly. I know goalies go on runs and miracles happen. I mean, remember the Hamburglar and that, things happen. I'm pretty sure Brian Boucher, if that's his name, won a couple playoff rounds too. I know those things happen, but Shelovs to do so in Vancouver and to play really well against Nashville and McDavid and Draisaitl, that's another level of mother effer. You know what I'm saying? And in front of him is Thatcher Demko. Look at this comment from Callum again, okay? Look at the surplus value we have occurred or cured over the next couple of seasons. There are 0 bad contracts on this team. That is the truth, but that OEL money in a couple years, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something. Jim Bennon, man. Jim Bennon, the masterpiece right there, had to do that right before he left. Unbelievable. I also got to say this again. Can the NHL just get rid of the buyout penalty? I don't get why you got to penalize roster building if an owner is agreeing to pay millions to an athlete to not do anything for his team anymore. You know, that cost and that price is already big enough. Am I right or am I right? Infamous with a cool comment here, because again, I've been reminiscing a lot about what happened in the playoffs, and not like holding on to it, but just kind of valuing those moments more, right? And Infamous is talking about how the PDG game, the game in which he scored a goal after he had a kid, was insane. Okay, was that against the Oilers or was that against the Predators? It was a goal in the third period, right? That fluke goal. Anyways, it was a beautiful moment, and the playoffs are truly beautiful, and the playoffs are literally the last time I spent any time watching cable television or live television. How is that relevant? I don't know. Just what a time, man. What a time watching playoff hockey in front of a TV and just loving hockey again. This year was truly a blessing. SK93, okay? We need Locked On Canucks to meet Pettersson in Sweden for a pep talk too. Nah, let him, you know what? Before he talks to people like us, let him just talk and listen to gurus, man, the mentors, the hockey nerds, the Hall of Famers. For real, man. Don't focus on the noise. Focus on the wisdom and the belief. Nobody should be doubting that anyone in this organization is concerned about Elias Pettersson, okay? Or his, I don't want to say his future, but his potential, right? Because they gave him 11.6 million. Yes, 11.6 million reasons why they believe in him. Now people are willing to cut their summer vacation short to help a friend out. That's a real team. That's gangster, man. I love that, man. That's a beautiful thing. And it's a testament to how I feel things are just 100 times more professional. And this whole regime feels fresh and authentic and full of championship pedigree, which is always going to feel brand new until we win a championship. You know what I'm saying? Because the way they're moving is literally different than anything we've seen. I know it's only been 1 year, but you got to lean on the leaders, aka the pillars, and just a lot of talented individual leading this team. For real, man. Anthem is saying that last season the Pettersson interview was on a gondola through the city. Next one will be from his yacht. Yo, are you talking about like all the interviews he did with Elliot Friedman? Yo, can we end it on this note? Not my business, but sort of my business, because I love hockey, man. 32 thoughts, man. Is that over? Jeff Marek leaving Sportsnet, or Sportsnet not, I don't know, re-upping Jeff Marek or just letting him go? What's going on? And if that's the case, is 32 thoughts, that's gone too? That's gone? Jeff Marek, man, has done a lot for me. He's been presented to me for, I feel like, 2 decades. And I'm not going to front, in the beginning of my viewing relationship with Jeff Marek, not my favorite broadcaster, but definitely over the last 5 to 6 years, he's one of those guys. Escapism, providing that, the love for the game, the tutelage, and again, just a great hockey program in 32 Thoughts with Elliot Friedman. And yo, if that's gone, that's a hole. That really is. That's unfortunate. Callum saying we are not going to miss Nikita Zadorov. Hey, I'm going to miss 32 Thoughts and Jeff Marek and Elliot Friedman, okay? For real. Anyways, my name's Kyle Bowen. One love to you and you and you and you and you and you. And again, I'll say this, and I mean this completely, you know? We have enough, dude. We have enough. We are blessed. So happy to be talking to you and you and you and you. And the people in the Discord and the subscribers and the live chats, the similar faces. But I'm telling you, we Gucci. We Gucci, we good. And this studio, yes, our studio, and I know the Locked On Podcast Network too. We're content, we're happy, and we're grateful, for real. Thanks for all the listens. Thanks for everything that's been happening over the last 14 to 15 months. Yeah, I think a lot of my appreciation for the game of hockey has gone through the roof, and that's mainly because we cheer for a pretty good team now, and things are on the rise, and things are a lot better than playing the lottery simulator game. You know, we're not depressed anymore, and yeah, that's a thing, but Trevor and I, man, we've definitely gotten even closer to hockey, and that's because of you and you and you and you and you and you. So yeah, stick around for some more. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get it, man. Let's get it, man. Let's take the show to wherever it has to go. My name, Kyle Bowen, KYLEBHAWAN. That was another episode of Locked On Canucks, the show that gives you your Canucks every day. I'm going to go put Trev's information in the bio below so it's easy to get to his profile. A good, optimistic fellow doing things for your Vancouver Canucks in the community. And yeah, enjoy the weekend. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network,